Tonight on The Real Hustle, we dress up as security guards and steal £5,000.
We're getting so much trouble.
We ruin a woman's life by taking her handbag.
Did you not see anyone come here?
And losing the lot. Through your letterbox, we expose a popular crime happening on housing estates today. We're going to uncover the secrets behind the most popular scams being carried out by con artists in Britain today. Our real hustlers are Alex, a confidence trickster; Jess, a sexy swindler; Paul, a scam artist. They've been travelling the UK to demonstrate to our hidden cameras exactly how the cons work. All the people in this show have been hustled for real, and after being given their money back, they agreed that the footage could be shown, so you can avoid being ripped off by the same scams.
We all know that feeling of shock and panic when something of value is stolen. In this con, the hustler uses that feeling to manipulate the mark into doing something they wouldn't ordinarily do.
Alex, Jess and Paul arrive at the service entrance of a large London shopping arcade. They make their way to the cafe area on the second floor, a suitable hunting ground for our team. They split up to take up their positions for today's scam, the bag and pin snatch. Alex and Jess are pretending to be tourists whilst keeping an eye out for a suitable victim. They have chosen this woman, and it's her handbag that's the target. The bag is going to be snatched, but that's only half the plan. The stakes are much higher, as you will soon see. Alex and Jess wait for an opportunity to make their move, while Paul watches proceedings from the back of the cafe. This is their chance. The woman's friend leaves the table, and the mark is now alone and vulnerable.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, I come too. But when will I see you? No? When I come back?
Does your number work here even though...
Yeah, no. Hang on, we take one photo. Okay? 1 second. Excuse me. Can you take a photo? 1 second.
Alex and Jess distract the mark and manoeuvre her into turning her back on her handbag.
Like this.
There's Paul. He's going in for the steal.
I have to put it on here. 1 second. I think he's like this. Okay.
Thank you.
Instead of doing a runner, Paul takes a seat near the mark's table. Alex and Jess have their photo, but the mark turns back to realise her bag is gone. Out of sight of the mark, Alex has to get somewhere fast.
Yeah, go to the van.
The mark is distressed.
You okay?
Paul talks to her, but she doesn't suspect that her handbag is less than 2 meters away in Paul's briefcase. This is the big hit. The team are going to try and fool the mark into giving them her card pin as well as her personal details.
Excuse me, do you have anything valuable in it? Do you have like bank cards or anything? What bank are you with?
Barclays.
I work for Barclays.
You do?
Yeah, let's cancel your bank cards. Have a seat. Don't worry, have a seat.
Did you not see anyone come here?
No, there was somebody walking through, but hold on.
See someone here?
Hold on.
Alex wants to sound like he's in a call centre and not in the cab of a van, so he plays in a sound effects CD of office noise.
All right, look, that's the bank call centre there. Speak to them. Cancel your cards, okay?
Hello?
My bag has been stolen and I have all everything in my bag.
I'm very sorry to hear about that, but I can certainly assist you with this call.
Yeah, please.
Do you know your account number and sort code?
I think it's
With the help of the sound effects, Alex has convinced the mark that he is a bank call centre operator, and she dutifully gives him her bank details.
Okay. Now I need your full name and your postcode, please.
It's Michelle and it's
She still has no idea it was Paul who took her handbag, and is hiding it in his case on the next table.
Okay. Now, I've got the card details here. It doesn't look like anyone's tried to use it, so it's a good job you called us straight away. Now, the last thing I need from you in order to cancel your card is your 4-digit PIN number. Now, I can't take this off you myself because we're not allowed to take PIN numbers, so I'm going to have to put you through to the automated service. Okay?
okay. Thanks.
Alex now plays back a message from Jess recorded earlier.
After the tone, please enter your 4-digit PIN number, followed by the hash key.
Alex records the tones, which could easily be decoded later to reveal the PIN.
Your card has now been cancelled. Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
The mark is grateful to the Good Samaritan.
All right. Yeah. All right.
But Paul's walking away with her handbag. Worse still, she thinks her account is now safe, whereas in reality, the real hustlers have done enough to completely empty her finances. It started as a distraction robbery. It developed into a card pin and identity theft. A potentially devastating combination for the victim. It's time to put her out of her misery and let her know how bad it could have been.
Well, thank you. I stole your bag.
I pretty much carry my whole life in my handbag anyway. My cards and, oh man, everything. So the person on the phone, that's just a whole scam. Everything's a scam. Then they're just gonna get all my details then, aren't they? And just, then they can do whatever they want. Oh, well, thank goodness it's only you this time. Oh, no. Sorry, I'm still all shaky.
There's two very important elements that make this con work so well. First, when we get the mark to take a photo of myself and Jess, she's concentrating on us. She's not looking at her bag, and that gives Paul a perfect opportunity for a clean steal. Second, when she makes the phone call, everything is as it should be. There's office noises in the background, there's phones ringing, there is nothing to arouse her suspicion. And without thinking, in panic, she gives all her information straight to us.
Always try and keep your wits about you. And if something doesn't seem right, then ask questions. But what you must always remember is that the only person that knows your PIN number is you. The bank don't know it and they shouldn't ask for it. So if they do, then you should be immediately suspicious.
We meet people who've lost their handbags every day, and the effect on them is devastating. They lose their phones, they lose their address books, house keys, car keys, cash, cards. All these things have got to be replaced, and they have to basically reorganise their life.
Householders may think when their front door is locked tight, their property is safe, but right now, especially on modern housing estates, the letterbox is an easy way into the home for a thief. So watch out for anyone walking around with a long stick. The team are casing this suburban street. They've picked up 3 suitable homes and now park up. The team need the cover of darkness and a certain amount of manual dexterity to succeed.
Sorry, what were you
It's
saying?
way past bedtime, but our hustlers are ready to play.
Mr. Wilson.
All right. Yeah, you were just saying something about something.
They tool up with their weapons of choice and we switch to night cameras. But what have they got on the end of those very long sticks?
This stick has a magnet on the end and is designed for picking up large bunches of keys like house keys. This stick has a hook on the end and is designed to pick up smaller keys like a car key. This stick is actually designed to pick up litter, but it's also ideal for picking up handbags. You can also open up the handbags, go in, take out anything you want.
Paul has spotted a house he likes the look of. Only the light in the hallway is on, and he's hoping the owners are in bed. Paul checks out the view from the letterbox, and in he goes. A miniature camera captures the stick's-eye view of the heist. There's a bag on the floor in reach of his claw. He pulls at the bag to get a better look inside, and is rewarded with finding a purse to snatch. The claw trigger is pulled, and the purse is well and truly grabbed. A bit of manipulation, and out it pops. Meanwhile, Jess has spied a jacket hanging up at the bottom of the stairs. Nothing unusual in that, except Jess's magnetic long stick can reach it easily. The pocket is dipped, and Jess has caught a bunch of house keys. The owners are asleep upstairs, so Jess must be as quiet as she can as she retrieves her haul. Alex uses a torch to help him see into a dark hallway. He's after some car keys left within easy reach on a console table. He must not make a sound either, or he'll disturb his victims sleeping upstairs. The hook proves an ideal choice for snagging the keyring. Fortunately for Paul's victim, he isn't going to steal their money and cards from their purse. Instead, he's going to leave the real hustle equivalent of a calling card. The owners will be in for a shock when they see Paul's face grinning up at them from the doormat in the morning. But that will turn to relief when they realise it's only a warning and nothing has been taken. Alex could steal this car easily, but he's doing the same as Paul and leaving the car owner a cheeky memento of his nighttime exploits instead. Meanwhile, Jess lets herself in using the house keys she's just fished from the jacket pocket. She's not too cocky though, as any noise may give her away. Alex strikes a pose. His calling card is going to cause more shock than any parking ticket, but it will make sure the owners get to keep their car safe in the future. Jess's photo is certain to be a wake-up call for the house owner's home security and could just save them from a real long-stick burglar. Alex thoughtfully posts the car keys back, and it's time for the team to leave. With the photographic mementos left behind, the team can only wonder what the householders' reactions will be tomorrow morning.
The obvious advice is keep your keys and your belongings out of sight of your door, preferably in another room. Otherwise...
Still to come, the real hustlers revive an old scam that still has the power to take your breath away.
It's so scary to think that people can get money out of you by doing that.
The real hustlers are going to show you how to get free drinks off your mates by using proposition bets on some unsuspecting customers in this local pub. The proposition bet suckers you in as it's a bet on an event or an outcome you believe can only go one way. And it always does go one way, the hustler's way. So watch and learn. It's Paul's turn to get in the round, and that means picking targets for a proposition bet that Paul thinks he is sure of winning. This one is straightforward geometry, no sleight of hand or other trickery involved. This bet is for beer.
Here's the bet. What's the longest? The height from here to here, or the rim of the glass from here to here?
So what's the longest? the circumference or the height. It seems a bit close to call, but the three friends warily plump for the height being a greater distance than the circumference.
You go for the height? Yeah.
Paul ratchets up the bet. For 2 beers, it's the combined height of the beer glass and an ashtray versus the distance around the rim.
Now all the way. Now the height of it. The height has to be better. That's 2 drinks. If I can prove that that's greater than that, I have to prove it.
They're sticking with the height as it seems a surer bet.
Go on then.
Paul won't let it rest there and seems to have got caught up in the game as he raises the stakes yet again to 3 beers and 3 shots, with the height now made up of the beer glass, Paul's mobile phone, an ashtray and a box of matches.
So 3 beers and 3 shots. If I can prove to you that is bigger than that.
Paul seems to have lost the plot and stacks up another ashtray, making the combined height that of 2 ashtrays, a mobile phone, a box of matches and a beer glass. Paul's prize, if the 3 friends are wrong about the height being the longer dimension, will be 3 beers, 3 shots and 3 bags of crisps.
Has to be bigger. Has to be bigger. 3 beers, 3 shots, 3 bags of crisps.
For the 3 friends, it's a surefire bet that the height is greater than the circumference. So, it's time for Paul to prove otherwise with the end of a paper napkin. And remember, there's no trickery here.
Mark exactly, make sure I don't cheat or anything. Mark, I'll get it nice and tight. Mark exactly the point where it means.
This is all above board. This bet is based on geometry, and even Paul can make a mistake in his calculations.
No way. Now that is...
Oh my God.
So, it wasn't the height that was the longest, it was the distance around the rim of the glass.
3 beers, 3 shots, 3 bags of crisps.
Vindaloo, yes.
Paul calls in his winnings. For the mathematically minded, a standard beer glass is 15 centimetres tall, and the distance around the rim is a whopping 27.5 centimetres. All you have to do to win this bet is to remember to keep your pile stacked to less than twice the height of the beer glass.
Last year, more than £65 million was lost to cash machine fraud. Hustlers are experts at diverting people. And at the cash machine, your card is exposed for a split second. But that's all it takes.
Alex is in position and Jess is in character on a pair of crutches as our real hustle duo demonstrate a classic cash machine crime, a cash card switch. Watch closely to see how this con takes its victims completely by surprise. This is the mark. She's queuing up to use the cash point, but with Alex and Jess around, you know something's about to spoil her day. Jess in distress is hard to ignore, and the mark does what most of us would do. Alex joins in helping Jess.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you don't give me anything, that's not mine.
Might want to take your card though.
He even helps the mark by pointing out her bank card is still in the cash point machine. Now Alex can use the cash point himself. The mark leaves with her card and cash, and Alex completes his transaction. This all seems normal, but our mark has just been robbed. Didn't she suspect it?
I went to the cash point, took out £10, and a lady on crutches dropped her bag. I picked up her stuff to help her, and I don't think anything happened. I got my money and my card.
We suggest that she checks her purse.
My card? Oh, that's not my card. And I think it's a £10 note. That's a real £10 note, that's not my card. It's Mr. Smith. Someone's just taken my card without me knowing, basically.
It's worse than that. Let's go back and see why. The mark removes her card in plain view. All too easy for Alex to leaf through his wallet and select a lookalike. If you missed it, here it is again. Alex is watching over the mark's shoulder as she inputs her PIN. This is shoulder surfing. Now it's all down to timing. Alex waits for the right moment to give Jess the cue to cause a distraction. As the mark turns to help Jess, the card pops out of the machine and Alex swaps it. Shoulder surfing allows the fraudster to use the genuine PIN with the real card, stolen using a distraction technique.
Might want to take your card though.
So, thank you. Thanks.
The mark is convinced that she has her own card back. She doesn't even check it and leaves the scene happy. Alex has the card and he knows the PIN. All he has to do now is empty the mark's bank account. He's got the lot. Job done, and all that money has made Jess feel a lot better. It didn't take Alex and Jess long to practice this deception. So, how can you protect yourself from this all too common crime?
The basic rule is this: never let anybody or anything distract you when you're at the cash machine. Always keep an eye out for your card, and always cover your PIN. Everybody's got heroes in their lives. For some people it's sportsmen, for other people it's artists. Now for us three, I can safely say it's the most successful con man of modern times, Frank Abagnale. In fact, he was so successful that Steven Spielberg made a film of his life called Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio.
In my case, I was just in the airport in Boston, Logan International Airport at the time, and I noticed that everyone was putting their night receipts and money into a bag, which they then carried down to the bank that was in the terminal. And they stuck their night key in the box, dropped the bag down, they made sure it went all the way down, then they closed it and locked it. As I sat there, I watched everyone from Avis Hertz to the airlines to the restaurants drop their bags. So the next night I came back to the airport, but I had rented a guard uniform from a costume store. I stood in front of the night box and hung a sign up that said, "Night box out of order, please leave all deposits with guard on duty." Everyone did, they just dropped the bags, and then I left with the bags. Actually, Steven Spielberg did film that in an airport with Leonardo, and people came up to Leonardo handing him the money. Even though there were cameras all over the place that was obviously being filmed, people still walked up and wanted to hand him the money bag. They had to explain they were shooting a movie. So I'm sure that it would work today just as it worked 40 years ago.
Alex, Paul and Jess decide to put Frank's theory to the test and see if they can pull off his classic scam. Welcome to the Dropbox. The Real Hustle team have travelled to Manchester to put Frank's methods to the test. Paul and Alex park up in a city centre back street. They disguise their van as a security vehicle. And disguise themselves as security guards. With the preparation done, they set off for their hit location. It's after 5:30, and Alex and Paul are going to target a bank's Dropbox, more commonly known as a night safe, where firms can deposit their takings outside normal banking hours. Jess takes her position. She is the convincer, and if a mark turns up, she'll go in and use the guard's services and so influence the mark into believing the setup is real. The boys unload and Paul puts the sign up just like Frank did at the airport over 40 years ago. Unfortunately, this is a busy city street and the boys have limited time because the longer they stay, the more chance there is of being found out. The minutes tick by. They've been standing there for 18 minutes when a woman arrives with what looks like a money bag.
Looking for the drop box? Yeah. Oh, it's right here. Fortunately, it's out of order at the moment.
Yeah. At last, it's a mark. Jess moves in.
Pack it with us. Put it in the strong box. Yeah?
Hi there. Hi again. Yeah.
Have you got any...
Jess is happy to leave her money with the security guards, and the mark senses nothing wrong and happily hands over her company's takings, £5,000.
Thank you very much. There's your pen back.
There you go.
See you tomorrow.
Well, hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Bye.
Job done, Jess gets clear. The mark signs a worthless form and leaves. With the mark out of sight, the boys make a getaway. Frank was right. His scam still works, and the uniforms, a sign and a convincer help take in the mark. Before we let her know her money's safe, we tell her that she's been conned.
Are you having a laugh?
But then the enormity of what's happened sinks in.
Ah! You're getting so much trouble. What's going to go mad? It's so scary to think that people can get money out of you by doing that so easily and nobody actually thinking anything of it.
So, what can you do to protect yourself against this Dropbox scam?
Most banks will use a well-known security firm. If you don't recognise the name or something doesn't seem quite right, then contact the bank and get them to confirm their authenticity.
Be aware of what's going on around you, and remember, if something seems too good to be true, then it probably is.
Stay with us, as next tonight here on 3, Jonathan Ross continues his tour of the Far East, covering the darker side of the Japanese people in Japanorama, followed by more action from the spooks here on 3.